Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space where we discuss everything relationship and love, and I'm your host, Franca. Tonight on the show, I think I was supposed to have Sajo, but I have just Jacinta on the show. And today we're discussing, can relationships survive lost respect and growing resilience? That's what we're discussing today. We're saying, can relationships survive lost respect and growing resilient, yes.
I think it's resentment.
Is it resentment? Yeah, resentment, yes. Resentment, yes. So really, resentment comes from anger, unhappiness, which is in every relationship. But it doesn't mean that it can't be dealt with or you can't survive it if you're intentional about it, Abby. What do you think?
Can a relationship survive
Lost respect.
and growing resentment? Like you said, if they're intentional, there's nothing that cannot be resolved. So, but I would say that, there's no relationship without respect. I would say that there's no healthy relationship without respect. These are the founding blocks of every relationship, especially a healthy one. And then if there's no respect in it, then it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be chaotic. And of course, it will lead to resentment. Both of you start hating each other, being irritated about everything that you both do. And can it survive? It depends on the stage, because we're human beings and we tend not to forgive that much. We can forgive, sorry, but we cannot forget. You can be intentional, but it's dependent on what's happened. Because if there's no respect, you know what that is?
Okay, so I don't think there's no respect completely. You've just lost.
That's it.
Yeah, but guess
When you
what?
lose
What is respect?
Okay, that's a good one. So I think respect is what we see as respect. So it differs. It's not, yes, I know there's a definition for what respect is, but we tend to assign it to different things, especially in a marriage or in a relationship. So I see things like, because what I might think might be disrespectful to you might not be, and vice versa. So I think it's according to every individual. But if you know what I consider as respect, and then you take that away from me, Franca, that's everything. I think that's everything in a relationship.
Yeah, but so that's the thing. If you don't communicate, and your definition of respect, and I've seen it happen in a lot of relationships. Two people are together. One person's definition of respect is different from the other person's definition of respect, man and woman. And we know what it is. For a man, typically, the man's definition of respect is something else. The lady's definition of respect is something else. It's just typical. Now, because they both have different definition of respect and they haven't sat down to have a conversation, the woman begins to ask for what is due her.
Of course.
And the man sees it as disrespect. The woman begins to behave in a certain way. The man sees it as disrespect. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then resentment starts to build up.
Okay.
Because they are not talking about it.
Okay, now let's look at it from this angle. Okay, that's a good one. What if we have spoken about it, and you know that this is what respect means to me.
That means that person is
And
intentional.
Then, yes, and then I know, so we both know what it is.
So the person
and then
is doing it intentionally.
Yes, you go ahead to make sure that, of course, you don't respect me.
Okay, but again, two things. Habits. Do you understand? There are some times that you do things not intentionally, but it hurts the person because you are very careless in the sense that you're carefree. I'll give you a typical example. As partners, maybe one person is very together and doesn't like certain things. Some people don't even want you to touch their things.
Okay.
As far as going to touch whatever they own. they don't like to share. It happens. And then you don't see it as anything. When the person is complaining, it's weird to you because it's not a big deal.
Yes, nothing.
Do you understand? And the person is telling you, I don't like this. Stop it. You try as much as possible not to touch it as much as you would. But from time to time, one day, when you're in a hurry, you just quickly go there.
Yeah.
And then you forget to put it back, or the person is able to tell that you did it. That's disrespect.
Do you think that's disrespect?
Because that person doesn't want it.
No, I don't
That's
think,
you.
I don't think that's
Yes, so that's why I say it
disrespect.
depends
Wow.
on
How
it
people
depends on how people
it.
see things.
Because I don't look at that as disrespect.
Because it is not a big deal.
Yeah.
But for somebody
I
who is
know what
very
you
intentional, who
mean.
doesn't love to share,
Yes, I know what you mean.
if I tell you don't come, so it's like, I like my privacy. Don't get into my space.
Yeah.
When
When I have
somebody
not
gets in,
called
that's
you in.
disrespect.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it is.
Oh, wow.
So by the time the person is saying, oh, I like for my things to be like this, I like for my space to be like this, don't come into my space.
Okay.
And then you now do that.
I was actually looking at it from the point of, using derogatory words, insults.
That's because that's what is important to you.
Okay.
That's people. So I'm just trying to say from different, so for somebody, I don't mind if you don't say anything to me. But guess what? If you ignore me, that's disrespect.
I see.
That I'm speaking to you and you hear me, but you refuse to respond or ignore my messages. That's disrespect.
Okay.
For some people.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
The fact that, so you would expect that it's simple courtesy that you respond.
Okay, so when someone then continuously do these things and it's not like, okay, I had no idea it was a mistake. They intentionally are poking you to get upset.
Okay, so it's not poking. So things will make you do these things. For example, I will not intentionally ignore your message except I'm upset.
Yeah, so why would you lose respect for your partner?
No, I will not intentionally ignore your messages. I would only do it when we have an issue and I'm upset. Do you get me?
Okay.
Now, we have an issue, but we have spoken about it. I don't like that you do not respond to me, even if we're not speaking, even if we have a fight. It's just simple courtesy that you respond to my message.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
But
we have stated that.
Okay, but you know that it's only happening because you're having a fight.
But we have spoken about it.
Even if you're fighting,
that even if we're fighting, the same way you say, even if we're fighting, we don't let it get into the next day or we'll both sleep on the same bed.
But you know that's very difficult as human beings.
So you see, everything is difficult depending on how much the person is willing to take or give.
Yes, but you see, I feel that at that point, don't forget, when you wage war, you don't accept the person to come singing to you at night.
You don't get my point. So my point is, there's always an explanation for everything that happens.
Yes, yes, of course, I agree.
There's always, the person who you say is disrespecting you will tell you, I'm not disrespecting you.
You don't see it that way.
I don't see it that way.
So why wouldn't you, as a partner who have decided to live with this person for the rest of your life or be in a relationship with this person, why wouldn't you then see it that way, that the person doesn't see it as disrespect?
So that's why we're having that conversation.
Yeah.
So because so that means that, so I would say that you're not putting in as much as you should put in.
No,
that's
disagree.
what I'm just saying.
Okay.
Do you understand? If you know I don't like something and you don't do it intentionally, you claim you're not doing it intentionally, that means you're not putting in more effort. You're not putting enough effort.
See, this is the problem, that I see with relationships. People are always trying to change people, always trying to make them see things in a different way. And you're forgetting that these people are wired differently totally. And this has caused a lot of relationship and a lot of problems relationship. Now, you've seen that over the years, maybe you have told him every damn time, even when you were dating, and he just doesn't get it. You might then think he's doing it because he doesn't like you or he hates you or maybe he doesn't care, but you're understanding that he's not wired that way. Two things can apply. It's either you start to then rewire your mind to say, okay, you know what? He doesn't see this as this, or you leave because you're going to keep going on that same issue throughout the marriage or throughout the relationship. Franca, some people cannot see. You see, the thing is, you're saying put in the effort, but you're not getting that. Some people don't even see it as a reason to put in an effort. It's not even about you.
Okay, no. So that's what we're discussing. So we're saying, is it possible to come out of that? Like now you have gotten to a point where you're saying this person cannot change.
Yeah.
So what happens when that person cannot change?
It's left for you to decide.
Okay, if you want to stay.
Yes, see, at the end of the day, I always tell people, no one is chained to any situation in life. We decide to be somewhere until we decide not to be. It's just two things in life, and people misinterpret all these things.
So where does
to be or not to be. All the time you have been, you're compromising. When you decide not to, then it's not to be. You leave. It's just two things in this world. It's like in and out. Far and near. Life is as simple as that, but people make it so difficult. If you had stayed 10 years of your life, you have compromised, you've done everything, you're in. When you decide, okay, you know what, I'm out, this thing, I don't think it's going to work, and I have stayed all this while, and it's not going to work, okay, then I have to go. I go out. It's as simple as that.
So are we saying that it's not possible?
It's only possible if you keep and continue to stay.
So if you keep
the years
compromising,
yes.
If you keep compromising,
yes.
And if you're ready to, but I also think that I don't want to say people don't change.
People
choose to change. People change, but they have to choose to change
when they feel that something is wrong and they want to change
so
it.
they choose to change.
If they feel that thing...
You don't get my point?
Yeah.
It has to be a choice thing.
A choice.
Yes.
Personal choice.
I
not
agree.
About, even most of the time, not even about the other person.
No, that's why I said it's your choice. Mm-hmm. Yes. So if you're able to communicate, so it's possible to survive or to get out, to come back if your partner understands, if you both, not just one person, if both of you now say, okay, you know what? I really want this, deep reflection. I want this, and I'm willing to put in the work.
Put in what work?
As in changing towards being...
But saying it and doing it, that's the issue.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. If the person... we're not there, we're just having a conversation to say that, it would work if both of you are intentional. Because you see, it's not always one-sided, trust me.
Of course. It's always... Because there's something about him too that
exactly.
she's not also...
That she's not...
respecting.
Exactly.
And then look at the resentment part. You see, I think we have a wrong notion about this whole relationship and marriage thing. So we go into a marriage and we're saying us against the world. That's what a lot of people think. They think it's us against the world. But no. Because you already know the world is against you. And now you're finding someone who's going to, you are going to do life together and be for each other, be your cheerleader, push each other forward. That's what people think. And that's what a relationship or marriage is about. But you see, when we get in and we then see something else, there's a shock. And we don't get it, that our body goes through shock when we start to realize certain things that, no, this is not us against the world. This is me against the world, me against my home, me against my better half.
Okay, so I don't think that's what...
No, I'm looking at the point of resentment now. Because people are living together and they are resentful, they have resentment growing for each other. It's unfortunate, and it's unbelievable sometimes when you say that most people marry their enemies. And it's not just, and the thing is that we fail to believe or fail to understand that people have children for their enemies. They might not bring a knife and to stab you, physically, but their actions and their words and what they do every day, they're literally stabbing you every day.
Okay, so why?
So resentment is growing.
Get married, no, why do you say people get married to their enemies? Can you expatiate?
And I'm just saying, that's what I'm actually saying.
No,
in the sense
so
that
it's not like they knew that person was their enemy.
How
they
would you know?
grew into enemies because something made them get married.
Okay. You see, when you get married to your enemy, no one gets married to their enemy.
That's what I'm saying, yes. Nobody gets married to their enemy.
Then you find out that this my partner, what I thought, or because like I said, we get married or we get into a relationship thinking the other person will be our cheerleader, be our fan, support us in everything we need. Be there to push me forward in life.
No,
but then some people get into marriage and then those people who they think are supposed to be their number one becomes the people who talk them down.
No, but Jacinta, so that's where, so when you see, if that's what you think when you're getting into marriage, you think this person will be, I'm just trying to analyze this thing. So I'm single and I know, or what I want for a husband or a wife is a cheerleader, somebody who will be there for me, somebody I can depend on and all that. Now, if I know these things, so that means that's what I'm looking for in the person I'm getting married to. So I'm aware. Right? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So if I'm aware that these are the things that would make me want to marry somebody, that means that I'll be looking out for those traits in that person.
All right. I like the word that you used, aware. Now, a lot of people are not aware.
So if you are not
No,
aware...
calm down. Let me finish,
No,
darling.
Jacinta, if you are not aware...
Yes. You might think you are aware, but you're not.
No.
We know,
Jacinta, no.
but we're not
Let's
aware.
Not mix it.
Okay.
If you are not aware, that means you're not looking for those things. You don't know those things.
Okay, now let me get back to that same point. You see, the thing is, being aware and knowing are two different things. I know something and I'm aware of that thing are two different things. Now, I'm talking from the point of knowing.
So wait.
We know. Let me finish, please. We know, and we know because one way or the other, we were wired to think of it that way. When we were growing up as children, we must have overheard someone say what a partner is supposed to be. Maybe in school, we might have heard someone say, this is what to expect in marriage. As we grow in life, all of these things, we pick them up as we are going in life. Now, there's a knowing. There's a knowing because somewhere or the other, it has registered in our minds. What is this knowing? A partner is supposed to be what? Someone who is for me. Are you getting? That is different from being aware. So most of people go into marriage thinking that the partner is going to be that person who we support, who we love, and so much more. But that doesn't mean you are aware.
No.
You know, let me finish, Franca. When you now become aware, is when you are now intentionally looking for those things while you are dating.
Okay, so that's
the difference of knowing and being aware.
Good. So now, I know or I think this is what marriage is because of what I have been informed, right? So I think this is what marriage is. And I don't want to believe that the person she's getting married to is her first.
How do you mean first?
As in the first, so because she had to pick from people.
Some might be their first.
Okay, some and then some. So we don't have the exact figures.
Yes.
Do you get my point? So I want to take it that if you know what you want, you know why I say that? If you had said a lot of people go into marriage not understanding what is to be expected from marriage, I would understand.
No, you're talking about marriage. I'm not looking at marriage, what to expect in marriage. I'm talking about the partner.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
if I marry somebody...
Franca, nobody marries somebody who they feel that is going to kill them or someone they're afraid of.
No. So
do you know what I'm trying to say? Nobody marries somebody they're afraid of that will harm them. No.
Jacinta, if I
people
want to
marry someone they think that love them.
If I marry somebody that will take care of me, if I want to get married to somebody who is going to take care of me financially...
That's different.
You don't understand. If I expect my man... If what I know is not different, if what I know is that the man is supposed to take care of me, do you understand? I will not date somebody who cannot take care of himself or marry somebody who cannot take care of himself.
So many of us, even when we were growing up and they told us that the man is supposed to take care of you, many of us women still spent on men and took care of many men.
But that means they don't expect the man to take care of them.
No, but it's not good. You don't get what I'm trying to say. There's a knowing doesn't mean we must go according to the knowing.
Exactly what I'm saying. So, but guess what? You have made a choice to take care of the man. You're not expecting the man to take care of you. You know that the man is supposed to take care of you. But fine, the man doesn't have. You are now doing that. Yes. You're not going to quarrel about that.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Do you get my point?
We know, we like, there's a knowing that your husband or your wife or whoever your relationship
is. That in your head.
Yes, it's supposed to be your best friend.
But that's not what is driving you.
But that's not what it now is.
And you're adapting to it. No, but guess what?
Adapting.
She has adapted. That's why she's taking care of the man.
Okay.
Do you understand? She has adapted. So that's why she's taking care of the man. Because it would have been a problem. When it's a problem is, they told me my husband should take care of me. I don't see any reason why I should be the one taking care of you. It becomes a problem. But now, she has heard that the man is supposed to take care of you, but she has adapted. She doesn't have a problem taking care of the man. So she's comfortable where she is. She has made a choice.
Yeah.
So it works. You understand? But what I'm saying is, now, you say that you know or you have been informed that this is what a partner should be.
Yes. Your cheerleader,
Your cheerleader and
dependable,
all that.
and all of that. Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, did you, when you were dating, you will have those expectations even when you were dating.
Mm-hmm.
Were those things there?
Of course, most of them are there.
Good.
Yeah.
So that means that person was cheering you up and all that was doing. So he was actually performing those duties.
Yes.
It
A
is
lot of
when you
them
now
do.
get
And
married
then you realize
that.
this is not what, this was not how he was treating me.
So that means
when
there's
we
a change.
And a lot of women go through that.
Good.
And
Do you understand
men as well.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But there was a change. Something happened and there's a change, which is not a problem. So she actually got what she wanted initially. Went into it not knowing that the guy would change. So the conversation here now is that the guy was actually what I wanted,
Yes.
but now changed over time.
Yes.
So the conversation they are going to be having if they decide to go and see a counselor is what brought about the change.
Yes.
But guess what? What we're talking about is when people expect certain things, do you understand, from somebody, and they don't check for those things and get into marriage. Do you get my point? Mm-hmm. You think that, or you know, this is what a man is supposed to do, and you assume that it is his duty. You're not going to check whether he's doing those things. Do you get my point? Okay. There are people like that as well.
But Frank, I see here, the thing is, what basis is there to check, to be honest? What are there's no metrics to check.
I totally agree with you. That
because
it's just your words.
Yes, because you know what?
So
there are no
metrics. We're not arguing that.
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Do you get my point? We're not arguing that.
Yeah. So so the thing is, some people are getting married at as young as 23, 18, 19, late sometimes. 40, whatever. But you see, because we are finding ourselves every day by day, sometimes we don't even know what we want.
Nobody knows what they want. And then we have also said that people change. So that is where communication comes in. Mm-hmm. At that point, you need to, because, I was going to say that no matter how prepared you think you are for marriage, things will definitely happen.
Of course.
Do you understand? So you cannot know it all.
No.
You can never be too lucky. You would have issues. But what now happens is how you deal with those issues. That's where maturity comes in, awareness comes in. How you choose to handle it, how you choose to allow those things affect you.
And it's also a choice to say, I'm not going to do this
anymore.
It's not
about choice. We're just saying it is what you decide. You see?
And that's what I'm saying. It's just, then you decide if I'm going to continue
what works
or not.
for you.
Yes.
Do you understand? Yes. So it's about what works for you. Yes. So, but basically we're saying now, with everything, lost respect, built up resentment, can the relationship survive? I think yes, it can survive. You think it can survive?
I can't think otherwise. I cannot think because it's okay.
Let me tell you why. Okay, so let me tell you why I think.
I cannot say that it cannot survive, and I cannot say that it can survive.
No, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I'm neutral here.
Okay, so I personally think. So I think it can survive if both of you are intentional. That's why we have therapy. That's why we have means for you to work towards it. So there are chances for you to make it work.
Of course.
That's why we have those things. If you have done that, so yes, I think it can work if you're intentional. That's why they have put in certain things that people to work with you, you understand, to make this thing work. Because a lot of times, why this thing happen is because you guys are not properly informed. You are not aware of so many things. So if you are now informed, and then you now still say or see that it's not working, that's your choice. We're not saying you must be there. But can it work? Yes, if there's an intentional move or action to make it work. And there are things that have been put in place, for that to work. There are people you can see. It's just like you're sick. Is it possible to get well? Yes. If you're intentional about it, you will get well. Mm-hmm. If you do the right thing, take your drugs, you can get well. But at the end of the day, now God. Because now God knows when everybody will die. And do you understand what I'm trying to say? Yes. So, because I personally think that, you see, like we initially said, respect is relative. Definition of respect is relative. So it depends on both of you, which is why I cannot reemphasize commitment in every relationship and communication. If you have good communication and commitment in every relationship, you can sit down with somebody and have an open heart conversation. Be yourself in that conversation. I don't think you would have serious problems. The minute you are able to express and say exactly how you feel, and the other person understands you enough to say, this is hard, no judgment, No, the person is not saying, this is, nothing in mind. They're just open and having a very good conversation.
Yeah.
And then you understand that, okay, so at this point she's saying, I'm done.
Okay, and I would say something, even before communication comes in, even before then, you have to be willing to want to be in that relationship first and foremost.
Commitment.
Do you get? So if you're not willing to be there, there's nothing the both of you would say.
Which is why I said commitment and communication.
Yeah, that would foster anything. So so that's what I think is, if you still think that, oh, I want to be in this relationship, then why not? You guys can always look for ways to, try to make it work, but all the things that you've said, seeing a therapist and, talking and all of that. But I still think that when you take a foundation from a house, it will collapse.
So Jacinta, so let me say
that's what
this.
I think.
Yeah, but let me say this.
And I
a
feel
lot
that
of people's foundation are not even proper foundations. And I say that because a lot of people think they know, but they actually are not well informed. And I have seen cases where people say they cannot be in that relationship. They're already ready to go, ready to go. And then they stay. Why? Because they have gotten somebody involved. They got a therapist or somebody involved. And the person broke down this, whatever is happening between them. And they just realized that it is just something really very tiny that is making them feel very uncomfortable.
No, I am totally, on your, 100%. I know that when people seek help, of course, all these little things that break people up, they can always be, averted one way or the other. So I totally understand that you can actually talk to someone. It could even be an elder in the house, a third party.
No, what I'm trying to say.
No,
what I was trying to say. You said if you're not there, and I'm saying that there are some people that if some people say they want out, when you have made up your mind that you're no longer interested.
No, that's not what I said. I said when the foundation of a house, when you remove it, it falls. That's what I said.
And that's when I said some foundations are not built properly.
Yes, because they don't even know
what a proper foundation is. Yes. And that's why I said that. So because they don't even understand what it is, they don't have a good foundation. So any small thing they think is living.
It snaps, yes.
Because to them, sometimes living is the easiest thing to do.
It's always the easiest thing to do.
Do you understand?
Because every other thing is hard work.
Yes, so living is really the easiest thing to do. So everybody wants to run out. But guess what? You just find out that you're better off, not all the time again, if you understand the dynamics of your relationship, you understand how it works, you are able to understand, sit down and have a good conversation. You realize that it is not as bad as you think.
It's never as bad as you think, because it's always in your head most of the time.
Okay.
Because you see, relationships and marriages they're always different stages. You know what I mean? There's a time where everything is so bad. Maybe there's a problem. It might not even be you. It might be work. It might be anything. External factors can even be the main problem. And because both of you are not explaining or communicating properly, you think it's, the both of you. Because who else would take all the annoyance and being upset and irritation, and all the snapping and just, you have to pour it on someone. And it's always either your spouse or whoever is around you. So, of course, relationship, marriage, whatever, they are all in different stages. And if you don't know how to act or behave in those stages, then you see that most of the time you always want a way out. But someone said to me that when you get married, you're going to go through some really tough stages. And when you pass through those storms, it becomes like, sweet sailing and everything is peaceful and whatnot. So I just really feel that you just have to be patient if you really want something. And if you want something to work, you just have to put your all in it. The problem is ego. And in this generation, there's something about everybody's scared to be vulnerable. Everybody's scared to, show him who I am. They're like, I don't want him to see me finish. There's this struggle for power. It's this struggle for control. And that's the real problem we're having, And then people are not talking as much as they're supposed to be talking. There's a lot of just conflict here and there. Resentment grows. And like you said, of course you can always, get out of it, but it's not an easy process though. You have to be fully committed. to really want to get back to that very, chaotic environment, because you might look at it as normal, but some people have been through the ugliest of that, situation. They've been beaten, they've been harassed, their partner have stolen from them, they've broken trust, they've broken respect, they've broken everything that can be, could have been the foundation of whatever they have. It's broken. So sometimes, so it depends on the depth of, how much. It's not so easy to forgive the other person and to forget it,
Okay, so I think there are a lot of, there are always a lot of issues. Do you understand? And as one continues to seek for help, you continue to find out that, there's more to do.
More work.
More work to do, yes. Forgiveness is also a major role.
It's very important.
It's very important. Just the way when you mentioned forgiveness now, there's some pains that, there's
so hard.
It's just you love someone so much.
Yeah.
But there's a pain that you're not willing to let go. And at the same time, you're asking yourself, this thing is really painful, but I love this person enough, not necessarily because of anything. I've been with the person, like your sibling, that kind of, you now begin to see someone as your sibling, part of you and all that, yes. So I think that it's a lot of work. Trust me, every relationship is a lot of work.
And that's where I was coming from. I didn't want you to make it look so easy. And that's why I kept interjecting.
It's not
yeah,
easy.
That, it's not just about...
But guess what? You have to tell yourself it's easy for you to want to do it.
Yes, but you need to also understand that it's not going to be that easy so that you can be ready for it. That's what I'm trying to say. I tell someone, listen, it's not going to be easy. Yes, you can psych yourself, but you're going to cry, you're going to hate yourself, you're going to feel like killing this person, and there'll be more betrayal, because when you start talking, everything's going to come back up to the surface. Everything that you have buried is going to come back up.
Let's be honest.
So you need to know.
Is there any relationship that's easy?
That's easy? None.
So even if I tell you, even if I tell you, if I make it sound easy, the fact that it's not your first, it's not your second, do you understand? You have had to live life. No. If you have lived 25 years on earth, trust me, you have an idea of what life is about. Then when you get to 35, you understand that, it's really tough.
Babe,
but
did you see the George, 55? How old was she again? And she was dating someone that was 28, and she shot him when he was sleeping. So you think that she's seen a lot. She's a judge and a top one in America, not just a joke.
Anger.
Do you understand? Pain. Because it's not about age, how much you live in life or what you've experienced. Sometimes, you see, there's so much in us. No, it's not about that.
I'm just saying that if you have lived, you will know that everything comes with a certain pain. But I'm not saying it makes it easier. No.
Yeah, but you say the idea is like going to tell the person that it's not going to hurt that much, or it's not going to be pain,
No. What I was saying is, if you have lived 25 years on earth, you know there's pain.
Yeah, but
as you grow older, but I said as you grow older, the pain becomes real.
But some people cannot handle it, and it's all bottled up. Most of the things that we do, even I can bet you, just like now, if you have a fight to your husband or something like that, you'd be shocked that even maybe what he did at that moment is not even why you're angry. Maybe it's something he did 10 years ago, and you don't even know somewhere there you're still not fully, you're not fully recovered from that pain. And your reaction is like, what did I do? I just did this. And you're like, no. And you're like, okay. So babe, I called you babe. Franca. Sometimes it's pent up anger, frustrations, and there's no way people can just unburden, just talk to people. That's why a woman like that, successful all these years, because I can bet you maybe she saw a text on his phone, maybe from a younger woman, and then you're triggered enough to shoot him while he was sleeping.
I picked you from nowhere.
Do you understand?
That kind of...
And it might just be the fact that because she's even young, you don't know what happened when she was much younger, or maybe she has this sort of body shaming or feeling as though, you just never know why. If it was maybe her age mate, maybe she might not have even bothered.
So she's feeling used or something?
I don't know. Maybe she always just thinks that he'll always go back to his age mates. Why do you feel that way?
You'd rather not have somebody. I'd rather kill you and go to prison, and both of us won't have anybody.
Why?
Life is difficult, I tell you. Let's quickly go on the break. We'll come back with this conversation. We'll come back. Life matter is too strong.
Stay tuned. Heartlines will be right back.
This season on Heartlines, we're committed to making a difference in people's lives. So Heartlines, in partnership with Reda Consult, is offering 12 free slots of counseling every quarter for people in need of professional counseling. Additionally, we're taking on 2 pro bono cases for individuals navigating a challenging divorce. To participate, please send an email to counsel@vedaconsult.com with your story. Our team will carefully review all submissions and will contact all the shortlisted candidates. Heartlines is live Mondays to Fridays at 10 p.m., so engage with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Thanks for staying with us on Heartlines.
So please know that you can share your story with us via our WhatsApp number 08190384663 or call in to join in the conversation on 07025007749 or 07014242420. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Okay, so today's conversation is kind of, it's really real life and it cuts across everybody, really, because I don't think there's any relationship that doesn't have disrespect. As much as you try, at one point in time, see finish the quick enter every relationship. And yes, there's resentment, but at different levels, you know, because resentment is just built up anger, you know, but like I said, different levels.
Yes, people take it too far.
Some people take it too far. You can have an issue and you feel in a certain way for 3 days. Some people take it for 10 years. Some people take it for 20 years.
Some people end up killing their husbands.
And then some people end up doing all sorts.
Killing their wives and so much more.
So, but I want to know. So I honestly do not understand how. I know it happens. Don't get me wrong. And like here, I'm using myself. You know, how you can be married to someone, and over time you hate the person so much that you can kill the person. It happens. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just trying to ask myself that how did you let it degenerate to that level? You understand? You would have just walked away. You would have just, you know, you'd have just taken charge of at least control. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to, how can I let somebody eat me up so badly? Because whether you like it or not, that person is eating you up so badly.
Yeah.
To the point where you now do something that's going to even affect your own future.
You see, that is anger. You know, they say there's a thin line between, you know,
there's a thin line, love and hate.
You know, and I just think that first of all, it has to do with the brain. Over time, you know, like you said the other time, people are not aware of themselves, and they get to a point where they lose everything. They lose themselves completely, and they don't even know who they are anymore. And this could be, you know, over time, their self-esteem has been, you know, tarnished. They don't have anything to look forward in life. And maybe the partner, like I just said to you, who is supposed to be their cheerleader, you know, had contributed to, you know, this new state, this way that I feel about myself, which is not beneficial in any way. So I think it's a programming of the mind for you to get to that point that you would literally zone out And because that point in time, you're not thinking anymore. Or your conscious brain is not working. And you see in that minute, when they're done doing it, they are like in shock. Oh my God, most people, why some people will still obviously continue to try to maybe hide the body, hide the weapon, and so much more. But I think that it gets to that point, it has to do with the brain, and over time, rage and annoyance and anger.
Okay, so Jess, but from your point of view, what do you think should be done differently?
Remove yourself from the environment.
It's not about removing.
Don't
even get
some
into.
Some people are very toxic.
No, don't even get into.
Some people never saw it coming. See, you just need to understand that because you're aware, because you already know what you want to be.
No, it's not about me. We don't understand. I'm saying, what should we do differently going forward? It's not what has happened.
Okay, what we should do.
Yes.
I think before we finally, decide to get married, like this is not like a broken record. You need to seek premarital counseling. You know why it's important? Because when you're not aware, some makes you aware. They bring questions forward, things you've never ever thought about. They will ask you questions if you've never thought about it. And that's the thing, once your brain lights up with a question like that, you would have to find an answer.
Somebody was saying that after counseling, there are a lot of married that he or she went for counseling somewhere. And after speaking to them, there are a lot of people who cancel their wedding.
Yes. Yes, and that's the fear. A lot of people don't go for it. And let me tell you, a lot of people know that there's premarital counseling. But because of the delusion of me being a married woman and all of that pecs that will come with it, they don't go for premarital counseling.
What pecs, really?
Because, babe,
so even if they understand, behave, but guess what? Even if they understand,
it makes them think
which
that
is
being
why
married is like a trophy, it's like some award.
That is why I'm asking what can be done differently. Because if this thing is put out there that this thing you have been told is not true. Yes, it's a beautiful experience. It's something everybody will want to wish they are part of. But guess what? This beautiful thing is being insulted.
I think I need to add this. Aside from even premarital counseling, I think everybody should go for therapy.
Good.
To rewire the brain with what we think that we know. We need somewhere where we can ask questions so that we can then come back to think about some of the challenges.
So do you agree with me when I said everybody needs an NLP training, form of training, a therapy form of training? Because people need to begin to restructure,
rewire all of this,
mind shifting, a lot of things, and it's all out there. You only need to seek.
Yes, but that's the problem. Some people don't even seek it because they don't think there's a problem with them. They don't think there's a problem with what they know. Even, haven't you seen that in marriages, one of the problems is that the man or the woman will think that how I grew up was the best way. Some people take that into marriage. They'll tell you that in my home, this is how we do it. This is how I grew up. And they'll never want to let go of any of those things, even if it's not helping the marriage. It could be from the man, it could be from the woman. So imagine such a person who already thinks that where I'm coming from, this is the best way to do it. And then you now want to argue with such a person to tell the person that's not the right way. No, the person won't seek anything because they're already thinking this is the best way. This is how my mother, my father did it. And she lived with him for 100 years. But guess what? Maybe the mother literally lived with him and almost killed the man one day. Maybe it was God that the man did not come home that night. Do you understand? Or maybe she was drugging the man for many years. And that 70 that you thought that the man died of old age, it was a lie. Maybe she's been drugging him since 5 or 10 years ago. He could have lived 90 years. You know what I mean? So some people go into marriages or relationship already holding that ideology of how I was brought up is the best way. It's few people that actually say, I don't like the way my father raised me. I don't like the way my mother did this.
It's not even about liking. No, listen, it's not even about liking. It's possible not to even know there's anything wrong with your upbringing. But you understand, be open to relearn and to unlearn and relearn.
Yeah.
Just be open to it. Because, there's no right or wrong, really. But
just what
if something is not working,
Yeah.
if it's not working, then that means it's not for you.
It's not for you.
So if you're doing something and it's not making you happy, because whether we like it or not, there's another thing I have discovered. Some people don't even know what makes them happy.
No. They don't even know what they want.
Because you're doing something, you think that's what is making you happy. You think you're deriving joy, but it's destroying you. So how do you continue to do the same thing that is not adding any value to your life.
You're the one that is seeing it. That is
No,
not.
no,
adding
it's
any
not about
value.
it's not about me
No,
seeing
I'm
it.
like the person who is.
So, but when you speak to me, the thing you are saying that you enjoy doing doesn't add any value, because you're not able to tell me the value it has added to you. Your mind is telling you this is what is making you happy, but it's a lie. That's not what's making you happy. Because really, okay, so there's this thing that men say that side chick, when they have a side chick is all, but when there's a problem at home, to go side chick side, not the sweet again. So why?
Yeah, because they want their.
Do you get my point?
Yes, because they want to come from a happy place to the side chick.
So,
That's
but
what
if
makes
it's the
them,
side chick that is making you happy,
then why do you have to?
Why your home doesn't have to be fantastic?
But then guess what? So some of them, when there's fire on the mountain at home, they also run to the side chick and they don't come home.
You don't get my point. No. So
face what is going on.
See,
it's more like
80%,
manipulation. They want the woman to start to beg them to come back
home, but not necessarily go to side chick. But guess what? 80%, if you ask men that cheat, they will
like
tell you.
Yes, a good home front.
They will tell you that the minute there's problem at home,
you have to settle it first.
Side chick not the sweet. So it is they enjoy themselves when they go out, if the home, so that they go and then they will come back to peace. But if there's wahala at home, even where they are, their mind is not at peace. So then why? If you claim that this thing is, you tell yourself that you don't have peace at home. That's why you're going here, Abi? Good. Now, really, there's no peace at home now. Stay there.
And refuse to go.
And you don't want to go. The place that you say is giving you happiness. Why don't you go there to look for happiness? So you see that they don't know what they want.
Yeah, and sometimes, it's what they think. Because the street is saying that, side chicks give you happiness. And before you know, yes. And then before you know, have you not noticed that when men get married, and he has friends, maybe, okay, let's say he has a group of friends who are married. Maybe he just got married, okay? And then he wants to hang out with these friends, they start to push him away. I beg, you just got married, you don't want to do what we are doing.
It happens, yes.
They do it all the time. So he starts to think that, oh my God, he cannot hang out with the friends anymore, the boys anymore, because he too is not bringing a woman.
No, but it happens with the ladies too.
What kind of ladies are those?
Oh, then let me tell you what happens to ladies. So when you get married, the fact that you now begin to say my Mrs., when you have single friends. So if you have a lot of single friends, and then you get married, and you now want to rub off the fact that you're married, in their faces. But once you just come to say, I beg, my husband. If you're that person that's always saying, my husband, a lot of ladies do that. You say, I beg. Just go. Go and meet married women. Go and be friends with married women. So I think it happens
but at least that's even a bit, I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say that, but the men would always want the men who are not cheating. They don't hang around them because they feel that they're judging them. Before you know it, you that have promised that I will be faithful to my wife, you now, because of society and hanging with your boys, you start to bring one girl or one or two or the other girl. Or maybe when their girls bring a friend, then you start talking to her. It was not the intention, but that's what the society does to you.
That's if the woman self. That's why I say it's both ways, because if the woman get crazy friends too, when they marry, when they cut show outside, like that lady when go that orgy party when they see a guy there. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
That was just 8 months into the marriage.
Yeah.
And her friend, what kind of friend would say,
let's go to an orgy party?
Exactly.
Because, but let's be honest, what kind of friend would tell a married woman, let's go to an orgy party?
What kind of friend would tell a married woman, what are you, that friend is married?
What kind of married friend would tell her married friend?
The ones that they've been friends from way back.
Yeah, because that friend was just 8 months into the marriage. So it means that they've been friends from way back.
You
want to tell her, let's go to an orgy party.
Her G from way back. They were in the same business before. Same friends the guys have that are saying you are married. I know you won't do what we do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it starts to do what they do too. So I really think that the society is playing a huge number on us.
So I just feel that when we
wanting to belong,
going back to disrespect and resentment, it's just funny because people will always disrespect you. Husband, children.
Now let's look at it from this part. Okay, now there's a disrespect. Maybe you bring a woman that you're sleeping with outside into your bedroom. Is that not disrespect? Would that be disrespect to you?
Yes, no.
Now that kind of disrespect, can you quantify it, or can you give it a number compared to maybe he says, maybe he doesn't come home to eat for dinner. It becomes, because some women, if you come maybe 5 a.m. in the morning,
so
they're
that's what we say.
upset.
That's why we say it's relative. Now, for a woman who doesn't mind, who they actually they invite people into their home on a steady, and then
That's not disrespect.
That's not disrespect.
Without her knowing.
No, you don't understand. If, for example, I don't know what happens in their marriage, because a lot of people have started bringing a third party into their home.
But that's we agreed, mostly agreed.
Then if we don't agree,
And you do it,
if you don't agree and you do it, and the lady is upset about you, and she sees it as disrespect. So the disrespect there is not that you bring the lady into the house, is that I didn't know,
Yes.
or you didn't take my permission.
It stems from somewhere.
Yes, so you didn't get my permission. Now, if you don't come home to eat and you give me a call to tell me you're not coming home to eat, that's no longer disrespect.
Okay. What if
permission?
Okay, permission is there, okay.
Yeah, so there's permission there. So, but if you don't come home and I would usually cook for you, that means you're taking me for granted, which is disrespect. So it just depends on what works.
Okay.
Do you understand? And then what would usually happen. So if
but I would say that disrespect, bringing a woman into
the house and not eating, is higher than...
it's higher.
It's higher, yes.
And so you cannot say that, so you look at it differently when it comes to forgiveness, or, okay, maybe going through it. Because that could be a boundary.
What is there to forgive when you're not chop? Maybe you're hungry. I'm just thinking aloud, you know. So because
but with the woman in the bedroom, can you just forget that?
How can you forget that?
See?
So that's what I'm trying to say. That
now
respect
is to cause resentment over time.
But he's not going to do it all the time. And then
it doesn't matter, even if it's once. I know women who have left their husband just for that reason. Yes, I know someone. That's why she left her husband.
Yes, but why should you bring someone home?
But that's what I was trying to say. Now, are you going to tell me that therapy would help with that? If that's my boundary, I don't take that.
Okay, so
the therapy work with that.
No. So see, why I say therapy is, whether you like it or not, she needs to go see a therapist.
No, not her seeing therapist. Now, for that reason,
no,
because that's her boundary. That's can't cross.
So that's
So she says, if you do it, I take my bag, I leave.
Leave, good. And then she leaves, or before she leaves, she goes to speak. Even after she leaves, she goes to speak to someone.
Oh, that's for herself now.
Yes,
not
so
for the
she
both
leaves.
of them.
Yeah, for herself. She leaves, and then she goes to speak to someone. And you're speaking to someone, and the person now, and she's... So, you see, it has to do with how she feels.
Of course.
Now, if you have left and it doesn't bother you, you're fine.
Of course.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
You have told yourself, I'm fine, and it's not affecting you in any way. You're fine. You don't even need to see a therapist. It is only when it starts to affect you, we now say, oh, this decision you took is not even good for you. Speak to someone and see how to navigate life after this whole decision you have taken.
Yeah.
So you now go see a therapist to say, my husband did this, even after I've left, it's still bothering, it's still affecting me.
And I
still
can't
can't
do so. My next relationship, take the baggage.
You'll be shocked that she can't even go into a relationship because she still wants that person back. It happens because you take your bag in anger because that's what it is. That's your boundary. You take it back, not thinking of what happens after that. Are you able to actually come out of that relationship and start having feelings for someone else, or be ready to get into another relationship? Are you ready to be alone for a while?
No, I think that's not a choice that you make
That's
after that.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, that's what I said. So you just know people have anger issues. I've told this guy...
It's not anger issues now, Franca.
No, it's not. You don't understand. I know that that's my limit. I can't stand it.
Yes, so it's not anger.
No, I already know I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I am not... some people are not able to process things properly.
Yes.
You might be angry and you are going to leave, but you don't leave that day.
Oh, yes.
Do you understand what I'm
yes,
saying?
Yes, different people.
Anger can make you leave that day, and you don't even have where you're going to.
Okay, then that's now different now.
You don't get my... So, but it's a decision that you have taken.
Yeah, so you now decide, okay, do I leave now? Do I leave later?
You're angry.
You process it.
Yes, you're angry, but you're processing your decision, which is okay. But when anger comes in, you're not thinking. He has done it. You just take it back, and today you go stay with a friend, and then you are confused at your friend's place because you don't have a plan B. And it begins to affect you.
Okay, now let's say this. So you see, anger, of course, when you take decisions, when you react to decisions, it never goes well most of the time. If anger is the basis for your decision, then don't. You have
You
to
see, that's
sit
what I'm saying. You have to
and
sit
then
and
sit
process.
and pause, breathe. Take your time,
Exactly.
think about it, then you respond.
Which is why I said, if that's
It's always
the
in a
decision
better
you have
place.
taken and you're dealing with it properly, you don't even need to see a therapist.
Yes. So if it's now a decision you're making because you have a boundary, you have values, there's this bubble,
and you have processed it.
And no, not even that. You have processed it even before that time. A boundary is not something.
No, you must have processed it, but you have not made plans.
No. Wait. I know. So your actions, your reaction, I'm not talking about when you leave. I'm not saying that because you have used your boundary, you leave that day. No. Your boundary is the signal in your head that this is it. Now, it's not left for you.
I will now take it.
Thank you. So you can then breathe,
that
pause.
works. That
But
works.
some people can still, at that very day, pack and still leave. However you decide,
to
go
something that
forward,
works
it's
for
now
you.
best for you.
Yes.
But you see, at the point that you see that thing and you're like, no, this is not who I am. This is like you taking my essence away from me. It's already in your head. You make that decision. Then how you go forward is now left to you.
It's left to you.
Yeah.
Do you understand? How you deal with it is left for you. And some people don't react to things immediately.
No, they don't. They process it
it's a
over time. They're
process.
slow.
Exactly. They are slow
to think
process.
about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already done.
My goodness.
They're already telling us we need to go. We don't have any other thing to say. So please. Yes, you can. It's able to survive. It's able for your relationship is able to come back after a lot of resentment and disrespect if both parties are intentional and willing, committed to making the relationship work. Which is why you have therapies, you have counsel groups, and all that, support groups and all that. So yes, if you and your partner are willing to sit down and have a real conversation, open conversations where you guys can actually be honest with each other, yes, you can move past it. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.